I started looking at this investigation into former Horry County Detective Darrell Williams back in April. I spent hours going through these documents and cases he was assigned. Child abuse, sexual assaults, home invasions, dozens of cases that the internal investigation shows were improperly handled. Now, according to this report, this detective either didn't investigate cases, closed cases without doing a report, or falsely closed a case, leaving more than 100 victims today without justice. An 8-month-old baby, a broken bone that 2 doctors say was likely caused by his own parent, according to these records. Enough information to make an arrest? Not for former Horry County Detective Darrell Williams. Instead, according to this internal investigation, he accepts the mother's theory that the infant's leg was broken somehow while the baby slept. Instead of arresting the mother, Williams' notes show he simply advised her to get a bigger crib. Another case, 2 girls ages 3 and 7 report being abused and raped by their own father, forced to watch porn and witness domestic violence in their own home. The children recount this type of abuse not once, but twice, stating things like,
"Daddy told us if we tell somebody, he will throw all our toys away."
And referring to her sister,
"He would tell Mommy he was going to the store and he'll come in the bedroom and then do blank first and then me."
Both of these cases closed by the detective with no arrests made.
That's what makes me angry too and hurt.
Yet another case, one woman raped nearly 3 years ago tells us she identified the man who assaulted her, even told police where to find him. But now, years later, she's still waiting for an arrest and still forced to live with the feelings from that very night.
Pain, angry, hurt, a lot of emotions.
An internal investigation into former Horry County Detective Darrell Williams brought these facts to light. Of all his cases over a 3-year span between January 2010 and February 2013, 41% were not addressed at all or addressed inappropriately, according to the internal investigation. That's 88 cases and 123 victims. 123 victims. An internal investigation into former Horry County Detective Darrell Williams' caseload came to these conclusions. 1. Detective Williams did not investigate 50 cases assigned to him at all, according to the report. 2. 25 had improprieties, meaning there was a problem with the file he turned in. According to the investigator, they may have had false, misleading, or contradictory facts in the case, or there was no report of investigation at all. And the third issue, Detective Williams closed cases without turning in a case file, according to the report. I spoke to Solicitor Jimmy Richardson about the importance of this paperwork.
We rely solely on what the police put together in their packet and send to us.
These documents show Detective Williams was sent reminders, but still neglected to turn files in, so cases had to be dropped.
Once we dismiss the charges for lack of discovery, person, if they're in jail or if they're under a bond, all of that's over. It's as though it didn't happen.
That means criminals can still be out on the street. In Williams' case, the internal investigation shows 3 suspects in cases the detective failed to document showed up in reports again as suspects for similar crimes. One of those, child abuse. The victim I spoke to says she thinks about this every day. What if the man who raped her has violently attacked someone else?
I pray that he hasn't done this to nobody else. I pray he hasn't.
She told me what it was like to work with Detective Williams.
He didn't ever do anything. It was like playing cat and mouse. I mean, I talked to him probably 2 times.
So now that he may have a chance to hear her voice, she wants it to be loud and clear.
Why didn't he ever do anything? Why didn't he just let it go? This is serious. This is not a joke.
Victim after victim, crime after crime, rape, assault, armed robbery, and child abuse. Suspects going free, according to these reports. So why wasn't anything done? These reports show the Horry County Police Department wasn't in the dark. I spoke to Chief Sandra Rhodes about this case a few months back.
This was an employee that had been with us for Probably 8 years when the violations started. I don't think he started having any problems until 2013.
Reports show Detective Williams started getting written reprimands dating back to 2009. He received at least 3 through 2013. It wasn't until then, records show, he was suspended for 2 days. This suspension paperwork clearly signed by Chief Sandra Rhodes. The internal investigation into Detective Williams' caseload came out in January 2014. 6 months later, he was demoted.
And so when we saw his productivity and his performance starting to decrease, I guess for lack of a better word, we removed him from that particular, from where he was assigned.
But what victims want to know is why wasn't he fired?
They didn't even fire him at that time. They just still let him work there. I think that's very wrong.
Chief Rhodes says after the demotion, Williams resigned, but she admits to a delay in how Williams' case was handled and says the situation has led to changes in the department.
Should not have taken that long for us to recognize that there was an issue. And so we made those changes, and the supervisors have case review with the detectives on a much regular basis now to see where they are on each and every case that they're investigating.
With that being said, the police department has already reopened many of Detective Williams' cases.
In some cases, we had the victims that declined cooperation because it'd been so long. Them and the perpetrators had already, reestablished relationships and things of that nature, but there were 2 arrests that we were able to make.
For some, no matter how much time goes by, they want the end result to be the same.
Justice served. That's what I want.
The Horry County Police Department is making progress, as in a recently reopened case. A 5-year-old fondled by a young man. The suspect confesses twice on tape, but Detective Williams did not make an arrest. With a new detective investigating the crime, an arrest has been made, and the police department plans to keep the momentum going.
We really want to make sure that we do everything we can to bring justice for our victims. And honestly, if it had been 5 years, I still would have made sure that that case was investigated.
Which is why this victim hopes others will speak up.
We need to be strong, and we need to do what's right for us.
Saying today, a new detective is making big change for her.
Now that I have him on my case, yes, 100%. I know he's there for me, and I know he'll do anything he can.
Former Horry County Detective Darrell Williams recently filed this lawsuit against the department because he says he wasn't promoted for racial and religious reasons. I reached out to his lawyer. She said, while he does not wish to make a statement on camera, he looks forward to proving all the allegations contained in his lawsuit against the police department. In the studio, Jenna DeAngelis, WMBF News.